you all for being here. Thank you for coming to the trial of King David, which promises to be a fun, engaging, and even educational experience. I'm Janet Slifer, and I just have a lot of people to thank because I just had this vision for something that we could do at B'nai Israel. I went to a mock trial about 10 years ago and just sort of presented the idea as a possibility, and very quickly got great support from CBI Sisterhood and Men's Club, without which we would not be able to have done this. They are sponsoring the event. So thank you to Sisterhood, thank you to Men's Club, and a little plug for both organizations because they're enabling us to do programs like this and lots of other things. So I also want to just share some quick acknowledgments before we get to the fun stuff of the evening. So I want to give a round of applause, not yet, for the many people that did a lot of behind-the-scenes work to help. Thank you to Rabbi Eisenberg and Cantor Wallach for their enthusiastic support, and Cantor Wallach for leading us in a beautiful Havdalah. And I also just want to mention, anyone who knows Cantor Wallach, she has many, many talents. I think we'd all agree. The one talent that we might, that might not quite be as strong is when it comes to food and food preparation. And somehow this event challenged her, and she gave some input into the food exhibit that you'll experience later. So I just think we've all stretched ourselves a little bit. In the kitchen, and she's probably not here, and she's probably in the kitchen, but I want to thank Evelyn Barron and her team for all of the refreshments that will follow this trial. Evelyn was poring over recipes to prepare and plan a wedding that was themed to the 7 species. So please, I invite everybody to stay and experience what she did to incorporate figs, wheat, barley, grapes, pomegranates, olives, and dates into tonight's really delicious offerings. So thank you to Evelyn and the food crew for the incredible team effort, Eliza Barron, Nahum Burstein, Lily Finkler, Mona Jacobs, and Renee Kingsburg. I also had a big shout out to Lisa Ehrlich, Lily Finkler again, and Nancy Sloan. Nancy, who designed a beautiful crown that adorns King David's head. And their creative ideas and talents really enable the decorations and the costumes, both in the courtroom that you'll see, as well as the social hall. And somehow Lisa Ehrlich, I don't know where Lisa is, but she, anyone who was here last week, less than a week ago for the gala, she did all the beautiful centerpieces at the gala, and somehow quickly got herself together to do the decorations and centerpieces for tonight. So thank you for all of that, Lisa. And to Lily also, who, as I mentioned, helped with the food, the decor, helped with the messenger's costume, you'll see that in a moment, and some impressive calligraphy that you'll see later at the King's Orders. Thanks to our verdict counters, important role, Bob Brower, Amy Dantis, and Eli Jacobs. Thank you, Mike Slifer, for videotaping, so we can keep this in the CBI archives. Finally, I also want to thank the office staff led by Rebecca and the facilities team for all of the behind-the-scenes work. And now, that said, I will set the context for this trial of the century. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, so all of you, welcome to the High Court of Israel. Before we begin, I would just like to know, from a show of hands, how many of you have served on a jury either in this country or in Israel? Okay, good number of people, thank you for that. So you may think that you know what you're in for, but let me just thoroughly disabuse you of those expectations, because it's not going to be the same. On to the case at hand. We are gathered today to adjudicate the case of the state versus King David. Before we begin the trial, a little background of the time period we are in. The setting is the ancient land of Israel in approximately the year 1035 BCE, I think, in the middle of King David's reign. The actual incident in question takes place during a war that was triggered by a diplomatic crisis. King Nahash, who was the Ammonite king, present-day Jordan, had died, and King David had sent a delegation of envoys to the new king, Hanun, to express his condolences over the death of King Nahash, since relations between the two countries were fairly cordial. Instead of receiving the envoys in a respectable fashion, the new king publicly embarrassed the envoys and sent them back with shaved heads and torn garments. This caused relations to deteriorate, and the Ammonites sent Aramean mercenaries to attack Israel. Israeli forces were able to beat back the attacks, forcing the Ammonites to retreat back to their fortified capital, Rabbah, present-day Amman. Israeli forces then began a siege of the city, which brings us to the time of our case. I now give you the court clerk to call the case to order.